Hey, welcome in. Well, I think that this video illustrates why I believe that ultimately the far left, woke, progressive movement is doomed to fail. And why? Because it's becoming a more and more exclusive club. There are purity tests, and you better pass them or else you're cast out. Here's the headline. Effing had my back. Joe Rogan praises the right and Fox News, who supported him after attacks from the far left. Well, we've heard this before, haven't we? An old school liberal getting cast out and attacked by the far left? Yeah, that's a story we've heard before. Ask Brett Weinstein and his wife about that. But why does this happen? Well, it's because they're not liberal. The modern left is not liberal. It's illiberal. And they don't like liberals. And they don't like liberals like Joe Rogan. But before we get into this, I want to thank everybody on YouTube who helped make my last video my most popular video of all time. It was about Trudeau and his ridiculous travel restrictions in Canada. And as of now, it's over 20,000 views, and thanks to all the new subscribers as well. That said, I'm also on Rumble, Odyssey, and BitChute as well. But anyway, let's get into this. Podcaster Joe Rogan praised those on the right and Fox News, who he said effing had my back, after he was attacked by people on the far left for interviewing jab skeptics on his Spotify show, as well as things he said about Rona. During the podcast Tuesday, the host, who said he's so liberal, and he says that because he doesn't understand that the word liberal doesn't mean what it used to anymore. There's a lot of people calling themselves liberals who ain't liberal. If you don't respect free speech for people you disagree with, you're not a liberal. You're an authoritarian leftist. If you're for jab mandates, yeah, you're not a liberal. You're an authoritarian leftist. But anyway, he was talking to his guest comedian, Fahim Anwar, about this narrative that comedian Dave Chappelle's jokes are transphobic, which he said just isn't true. Now, specifically, they'd be talking about the closer there, and I've watched that, and it is not phobic. There's no irrational fear of anything in it. But yeah, for the far left, it's still heresy, and you can't have that. Rogan admitted he would never have imagined years ago that it would be conservative hosts, media outlets on the right, and Fox News who would not only have Chappelle's back, but his back also, after he was attacked over the information he shared on his show about the Rona and the subsequent jabs. Quote, "We live in this weird era where you can't even make fun of things unless you're a bad person. You're a hater, like fun equals hate now. Yeah, they're not big fans of fun or jokes. Have you watched SNL lately?" But anyway, he noted how comedian Ricky Gervais is catching a lot of heat, catching a lot of heat for his latest special, Supernature, and said that it's really interesting that it's basically left-leaning websites that have a problem with Gervais and Chappelle, not the right. Well, this was a trend that was maybe interesting several years ago. It's not that interesting anymore. In fact, it's just totally predictable and frankly kind of boring. Quote, "Who would have thought that if you look back on the early days, what we used to think of as conservative versus liberal was pro-free speech. People were open-minded, non-violent, and people were open to other people's ideas. Not anymore. And again, the word liberal is no longer fit for purpose. It doesn't mean what it used to mean. The left certainly knows that. And any real liberal, any traditional liberal, is immediately called a right-wing or even far-right today. And why? Well, because they're pro-free speech. They're open to conversations. They're open to other people's ideas. Didn't you know that's fascism now? Rogan then pointed out that previously, right was like a suppressive nanny state, condemned certain language, condemned certain behaviors. That's not the case today. Today, the left has gone so effing far left, so radical, that the right are the ones that are celebrating comedians and celebrating Chappelle. Now, it is true that in the past, calls for censorship did used to come from the right. But the fact of the matter is, just simply the fact that the far left, the progressives, the woke people exist and have so much power, well, that would suggest that the conservatives were actually pretty tolerant all along, weren't they? But anyway, it says, they had my back through all the crazy S that happened with me. It was Fox News that effing had my back. And he continues, I'm so liberal. Again, you might as well just throw that word away. It doesn't mean anything anymore. I mean, maybe at some point they can reclaim it when they actually are real liberals again, but not right now. Quote, I talk about it all the time. I am not a conservative, but I am pro-Second Amendment, and I am a hunter, and I am a cage fighting commentator. And I drink, and I smoke cigars, and I like to bow hunt. Well, guess what? If you like those things, you might as well be the bad guy from Germany to the modern left, because they sure don't like that stuff. Well, actually, they do like to drink. I think when they're struggling to be offended, it helps push them over the edge, and they can really crank up their Twitter accounts. Anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Please subscribe, like, and share. That really helps me out. If you just like to listen, there's the audio-only version. It's on pretty much every platform. If you look for it, you will find it. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.